Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, RPG Limit Break, and welcome to our first matchup of today, second matchup in the Blue Moon tournament for Zemus Zone 5 between Alchemie and Starman. My name is Xenocat. I am joined here in the booth by Possum Orpheus. How are you doing today, Possum?
I am doing very well. Thank you for asking, Xenocat. I'm very happy and excited to be here for this fantastic play-in match between Alchemie and Starman. One might say they drew short straws having to do this play-in, but I think they're the lucky ones. They just get more tournament racing under their belt. So I'm excited for this. Blue Moon flag set is super fun, and I'm pretty hyped for, well, probably most everything but this Yang start. Definitely not my favorite on the flag set. These bosses, they're going to be fun. I'm looking forward to those.
Those are some fun bosses. Wait, why is Yang in the boss hunt? We already have him.
Spider-Man staring meme, pointing meme, whatever meme. One of those memes. We love our memes.
But yeah, we got both of the playable character as boss hunts that are possible. Cecil and Yang are to show up as bosses, and we got them both today.
Yeah, and I mean, DKC, that Dark Knight in particular, in the wrong location is just simply a non-starter. You're just done. You die.
Yeah.
Those dark waves in the wrong place, 1130 to about 1300 damage. You best come back with a Yang with about 3,000 to 4,000 health if you want to have a chance. So yeah, we'll see where our runners go and where the bosses are. Yeah, maybe you keep Yang.
Yang not usually favored on T Wildish just because he doesn't really get a whole lot of power out of loot the same way that a Cecil, a Kane, a Sid, an Edge would. But he's good at one thing, and that's getting hit points.
That's true. Yang likes his hit points like I like my buttons, and one of my favorite parts about this new layout, there's so many more buttons.
So many more buttons. But it does look like our runners are off.
Yeah, that is a really good companion character, honestly, for Yang. We do, interestingly enough, see a Sparkle, and that is important coming from Baron because two of our bosses, Plague and Ogopogo, are Sparkles. Baron Key could very well be required here. This could be, and this is as oversimplified as one can possibly make it, this could be a Baron and Darkness hunt, and that could be what our runners are looking at for potential go mode. It'll be really interesting. Obviously, again, oversimplification. But if there's a boss there and there's a couple on the moon, that could be the locations our runners are looking at.
Yeah. And we do see immediate divergence as Starman has headed right to Mount Ordeals. This is an interesting play. I think this might just be for a character check.
Yeah, Ordeals is typically a first or last character check. So for Starman, definitely going to make that play to see what the character is up here, while Alchemie is going to check for a free key item. We see a Cecil and a Twin Harp, which is a key item in Spirit. I don't know that I officially recognize it as such. I know you hold the Twin Harp near and dear to your heart, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's a boss location. And at this point, that could be gating our underground access.
How about we just never go underground if that's the case?
As chat's pointing out, it is also a vanilla Twin Harp.
Well, yeah, I guess that's a scoop of vanilla already. Wait, I thought Smapey was doing the behind-the-scenes stuff, not Dathis.
Yep, we do see Rosa and Sid here in Mysidia. Rosa's definitely a nice addition to this team. I generally find that having at least one white mage is good.
Yeah, and Rosa in particular, her primary weakness is that you don't get early exit until you do the Tower of Za. You don't get early Blink or Berserk. She takes a couple more levels in Porum. However, having Cecil around means that need for exit is alleviated. That's kind of the big thing where I think Rosa is going to be a mainstay for this party. So Cecil, Kane, Rosa, I think those three, maybe throw in some Yang there.
Yeah.
That's a good basis for a team, and we'll see who else shows up and where our runners go from here.
We've got Cecil, Kane, Yang, Rosa, and Sid as an anchor potentially, or just as an HP sponge. I mean, that's a fairly solid Zerker team.
Yeah, and with T Wildish, that increased loot potential for a lot of the goods to show up. There's nothing wrong really with just running those Zerker parties and having kind of a mage to supplement, like a Rydia or a Palom, as opposed to being a potential primary source of damage. And both runners kind of converging a little bit here in Damcyan. The basement didn't have too much, but a Dancing Dagger, I think, is the big find there. Can be quite nice for some early damage from that Kane in particular.
Yeah, and I mean, that Silent Staff isn't something to write off. It could be useful for Rosa just for some early anti-mage damage, or just a nice will boost. But we do see Edge here in Damcyan, and Yang is gone. Sorry, Yang.
It kind of makes sense. On this flag set, Edge is kind of just a better Yang. He can use the claws. He can also use actual weapons. He doesn't take near the level investment. So it's one of those situations where it makes a lot of sense. There is a Bomb hanging out at the waterfall, not a required boss, and looks like Starman is going to reset out. But we know that that Bomb won't be popping up somewhere where she'd be a little more unpleasant to fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the opinion that the best place to find Bomb is a place where you don't have to fight her.
I am right there with you on that. Oh, that's a ninja sword coming out of Watery Pass, so that's a big pickup. And there is a Palom. I think for me, I would look to round this team out and go Rosa, Palom, Cecil, Edge, and maybe run Kane. Or maybe anchor Sid. It's kind of a toss-up there. But I definitely think Palom has a place in this party. Just giving you something that the other party members don't have the ability to do, which is Quake, which is Stone, Warp, things like that.
Yeah, and Warp is especially important because the Warp glitch is on. So if we end up doing Dwarf Castle, having Warp to get that extra item out of Sealed Cave could be very nice if that item is relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. That Warp glitch can be very important, and we do see Alchemie here taking a jaunt into Eblan Castle. Now, Eblan Castle on T Wildish has some of the most impressive loot tiering, and Alchemie's going to try to take advantage of that. See if she can pull something incredible for her Zerkers, and maybe even do so before having Cecil online. Might revisit, maybe come back for a Holy Sword hunt later, but for right now, just trying to find a nice splashy item.
Yeah, Eblan Castle has gained some notoriety on T Wildish. We're just pretty much always having a Holy Sword. Not actually always, but most of the time it has something, either Crystal Sword or Excal for Cecil. But that untrapped loot can be really good for all of your other characters who can't hold those really big swords.
Yeah, one of those things where also, like, worst case scenario, you get XP before a hook route. You get some nice items, maybe pick up, like glass hats or, maybe like a white spear. Stuff that you don't necessarily want, but stuff that's kind of nice to have anyway. So we do see here Alchemie opting to try to take on this Starman and Skull Chest. This is a punchy bugger. Once left alone, he's just going to be throwing hands here, and I think this might be bad news for Alchemy here.
Yeah, the Starman is very punchy, and that it was a base level team.
And looks like we have Starman going and retreading Alchemy steps. Going to pick up the Twin Harp from Bedward here, while Alchemy going to take another run at Eblan Castle. And we'll see where our runners opt to go from here. I imagine that Twin Harp is not going to be on the immediate radar, but I wonder how quickly we're going to see folks head up ordeals, at least in Starman's case, to get that Cecil online.
Yeah, Starman, with the knowledge of that Cecil, is definitely incentivized to get him online as soon as possible, and then potentially dive immediately into Eblan Castle to try and get that Holy Sword.
And I'll kind of posit this question to you, Xenocat. When you have a Cecil, let's say you do Eblan Castle and you don't hit a Holy Sword, how much extra digging do you do? Are you the type of runner who just will keep hunting that Holy Sword, do the Stale Man chest, the Mad Ogres, go do Sylph Cave, Warrior chest down in the Feymarch, or will you stop at some point?
I mean, I'm on board for like Stale Man and Mad Ogres, but Sylph Cave, no. No, thank you. I'm done at that point. Maybe hair dryers.
Mm-hmm.
Hair dryers are fine.
I do have a soft spot for the hair dryers.
I mean, as we saw in the last tournament, the Adamant Cup, which did have adamants enabled, the hair dryers always have an adamant armor.
They did. It was fantastic.
That's how it works.
But we saw Alchemy pick up a crystal ring, a cursed ring, a glass hat, a ribbon. So Eblan with oodles and oodles of defensive gear. Not so much in the way of offensive gear, a little bit surprising. I think maybe there was a white spear picked up.
Maybe.
But not a ton of great offensive gear, which is a little surprising. Normally Eblan gives pretty good offensive gear on this, but all that defensive gear is not bad either.
Yeah, it's just not necessarily what you're hoping to find out of Eblan Castle. But there's a boss hunt. We have found Ruby in Antlion's Cave.
We're going to hardly get any leg at all. What a shame. Oh, but we get a little bit of extra leg because one of the weird things about Ruby is until the cloak opens up, Ruby is not actually weak to ice. It's the first time. So that ice claw hit from Edge there actually didn't do any bonus damage. Kind of a cool little thing about the script there. Probably not as cool as Starman was thinking it would be to use that ice claw, but cool from us from a tech perspective to see.
And we got leg. And I guess a Dragoon hat, but no one cares about the Dragoon hat.
No, the Dragoon hat represents like 3 sirens. That's how I look at it.
I mean, I guess it's elemental resistance. I guess.
Sure. You know what else is elemental resistance? Killing things before they kill you.
That is also true. And I mean, looking at our bosses, the only other bosses that use any elements are Dark Elf and Golbez. And Dark Elf's elements, if you need elemental resistance to survive Dark Elf's elemental attacks, I'm sorry.
Okay, but hear me out. The unfortunately named Blaze counter from Ogopogo that's actually ice.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is useful. And I guess Dark Elf's Flame Breath, or D-Breath, which has an ice-like effect, but is actually fire.
Yeah. Features, not bugs, folks.
Yes.
But we do see Starman, having completed Antlion Cave, going to head over to Fabul next, and we have Alchemy making decisions who she wants to take with her, says no to Palom, goodbye, young Mysidian prodigy, and hello to, I guess, Where's Rosa even from? I'm bad with the vanilla stuff. Is it
She's
Baron?
from Baron.
Okay. We'll call her the Baron Prodigy.
Sure, I guess. I mean, she's not like an actual child, but she's still pretty young.
Yeah. I'll make it up as I go. I'm not the vanilla person.
I mean, I'm not the vanilla person either, but...
Oh, hey. Antlion is not on the moon. Yeah.
That's the very last Antlion. What is Antlion doing here?
The background is not the same, so there can't even be confusion on that.
No.
It's not in a cave. Yeah, this is very odd.
Perhaps Antlion was coming to Fabul to ask for directions?
Yeah, perhaps. Maybe directions to the moon. I know what happened. Antlion heard about a character standing blocking the path in Fabul, where if you talk to them, you win the giant. And Antlion wanted to hitch a ride. That's my new headcanon.
Also, fading Fabul is not the play, because we do see a pan from Fabul Defense.
And the pan is quite nice as a pickup for Starman. There is a growing community, I don't want to call it consensus, but a lot of folks who are very pro fading Fabul on this flag set, since you know you're getting the hook, you know you got to go underground, you know you're going to be doing Sheila 1. And so a lot of folks want to be routing back in and trying to single dip or at worst double dip Fabul. And in Starman's case, having that pan before going underground means that he's only going to have to single dip to Sylph Cave and do what is effectively a mandatory double dip of Fabul, but it'll be as efficient as possible on his part. Alchemie, it looks like she was playing around with Dr. Luge and Baron Inn and then took a reset and is now going to head up to Mount Hobbs, it looks like.
Ooh, that is a blue robe at the first spot on Ordeals, but it looks like it is not the valuable blue robe.
No, but it is free experience for Palom and Rosa, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
There's no Tella, so we're not holding out for slingshots or anything like that. Sirens probably will be available at some point, but free hook, not really that great, for XP concerns. So it's one of those things where getting the XP on the mages in particular is very nice, and Water Hag will provide about 3,300 or 3,800 of it at the spot.
I mean, it's definitely a free boss. I would just like to see that free boss at, say, the next spot.
Fair.
Instead of the spot that has the worst attack power in the game.
Well, it's okay. We got another free boss here also.
That works.
There's a couple ways you can handle this fight. One option is just put up a Star Veil and just sit there. The other option is murder it. There is a very awkward potential scenario here, and I'm glad a second Veil went up on Rosa. The reason I bring this up is Edge is so heckin' fast that a Veil can wear off of Edge very quickly. And what could even happen in this type of situation is Edge with that Veil could have it run out and still take a full-blown Mega Nuke here. So I'm curious to see if that Veil held. And it did not.
No, yeah, Edge is just too fast for this spot, and that Star Veils only last for 50 ticks.
Yeah. So very heads up to get that second Veil on Rosa to make sure that Starman was able to get through that fight. And we'll get to see who is guarding Cecil in the changing room today, and what becomes of that boss. I have a feeling it won't be good things for the boss, but it will be good things for Cecil.
And I guess there's an item here.
The Paladin's the real reward.
Oh, absolutely. But we get a bonus hourglass too.
Yeah, the paladin's the real reward.
Hey, you could take that hourglass too into Eblan Castle.
You could. Maybe Starman will buck the trend and there will be no Eblan Castle. Also, hello Sparkle. Well, we now know that we're looking for Ogopogo and Plague still, and that Sparkle is Pale Dim, so that is less potential Sparkles to play the guessing game for our runners.
Yeah, I think now we're up to roughly 50% chance of Baron Key being required. Or at least having value. It could be the 8th boss that they don't end up finding.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where, again, it could be boiling down to as simple as find the Baron Key, find the Darkness Crystal. You might end up in accidental go mode at that point. So while Starman has gotten that Pale Dim off the board and gotten his Paladin online, Alchemie has completed the Antlion check and is headed over to defend Fabul. And we'll see if Starman goes and plays the Eblan Lottery, which is one of the community's favorite games now.
Yeah. Equipped with that hourglass in hand, all of the trap chests in Eblan Castle can be stocked with that hourglass. And Eblan Castle is, I believe, the best area on the blue planet to hit tier 8, and in this flag set, the only 2 tier 8 items are a Crystal Sword or an Excalibur. Which are both very good weapons for Cecil.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you get an Excalibur, you are not disappointed whatsoever. No, it's not a Crystal Sword, but it'll be okay. There is no stronger force in this game than a Holy Sword Paladin, outside of some very unique Supersmith situations staring at you, Abel's Lance, Fiery Hammer, etc. But generally speaking, Holy Sword Paladin is going to be the be-all end-all for power overwhelming. So if you can try to fish for one, you fish for one.
Yeah, and that is exactly what Starman is doing.
And meanwhile, Alchemie taking on that out-of-place Antlion, and will soon receive her reward as that fight is already complete. And I am excited to see what Eblan has for us today. Coffins, Gaia drums, dragon whips. A lot of that is just going to be money. You don't really need a Gaia drum once Palom has Quake. The dragon whip, well, there's no Rydia. And that's one of the neat things about this flag set is our runners have seen 7 characters. They know exactly who they need loot for. So any Sylph Summon, any Dragon Whip you come across, Rydia's not around. Anything you come across like, for Edward, I guess, you don't need. Like, you find a spoon, you can dart it, but it's not going to be equipable. So it's one of those interesting things where you know your party up front, and you can loot accordingly.
Can finally sell that charm harp that you might be tempted to hold on to.
Or that charm claw if we decide to just bench Yong.
Hey, Edge can use that to do bonus damage to giants.
Which could be relevant in this exact situation.
Yeah, see? Can't sell the Charm Claw. It has value until you're done with the hook route, and then it has no value anymore.
Well, are there giants that are actual giants on the moon, or are the red giants not
giants? The red giants are giants, I guess, okay. if you wanted to do that chest in particular.
And Mac giants are giants.
This is true.
Ooh, a Dragoon Spear.
I mean, it's not a holy sword, but we'll take it. Kane is happy.
Yeah, Kane will be slightly better than average now.
I mean, he'll be very good at taking out, I guess, the dragon form of Dark Elf.
Yeah, Probably.
And,
Sure.
If we run into Wyvern,
But not Bahamut, because Bahamut's not a dragon.
well,
and not
Bahamut's dead
Demist.
Anyway,
Yeah, not
and we
not
already saw
Demist.
Demist,
That's true, we did.
so we don't have to worry about the fake dragons.
That's true.
The only dragons left are real dragons.
And looks like Alchemie is staring at a tough decision who to get rid of for Cecil. She knows she definitely wants that Cecil. Looks like deciding ultimately on getting rid of Sid. Had purchased an Ogre Axe, which I believe can just go on to Kane at this point. Will be just fine. That Ogre Axe may also help with those Mad Ogres, which Starman is currently fighting. But it looks like I think a Rune Axe may be in hand, and Kane dispatched those ogres fairly quickly. Palom now does no virus, Rosa knows berserk, so at the very least some spells were gained, and there is a life staff to go with that dragoon spear. So currently Eblan Castle only giving a tier 6 and a tier 7 reward. No tier 8 holy swords yet, with one chest to go.
I mean, the life staff's not bad, but it's not good. It's just kind of a... This is nice. I guess I have a plus 15 stat stick now. And I guess I can cast life with Rosa instantly without having to use a life potion.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It's not what you're looking to see, but it's like, I'll take it. It's fine.
Yeah, I think that the two rings that Starman just picked up, the Cursed Ring and the Crystal Ring, to me, I think those are the two best items so far out of Eblan. It's not been the trap chest rewards.
I mean, the White Spear is also not terrible.
Oh, we see Kane doing Kane things with that Rune Axe and gets Palom blustered. So, fun fact, black cats are rude. I mean, they're cats. They're doing cat things. If you deal damage to the cats that is not lethal damage, they will counter with Bluster. Bluster can inflict, I believe, paralysis, mute, and potentially death. I'm not exactly sure on the status.
Paralysis and death.
Okay. Well, either way, they're rude, but now they're dispatched.
Yes.
And
no thanks to Cecil getting charmed and then letting Kane fall on the ground.
Well, Kane deserved it because he's the one that got Palom blustered. So
that's fair. And we just get Artemis arrows from the third chest, so we've got some dragon killing gear, but no holy swords.
Yeah, dragons are going to have a really bad day in this seed, courtesy of Kane and potentially Rosa, or maybe some sort of arrow-wielding Cecil. Not exactly sure how that's going to all work out. But no holy sword. So that is an interesting point that Eblan did not pay out on this seed, which is a rarity.
Yeah, and I don't think we have a really good bow to use those Artemis arrows.
Incorrect. We have a great bow.
Right. A great bow.
Yes, the most unfortunate and inaccurately named weapon in the game, as the great bow is in fact not great at all.
No, it is the worst bow that doesn't get auto-sold when the randomization converts items into junk.
Yeah, the great bow is what, like 30 power and like 40 accuracy?
That sounds right.
It's bad.
It might be 30 accuracy. I don't know.
I remember one time in a tournament in the past having to take a great bow mute arrow, great bow charm arrow, pour him as a tertiary Zerker into a Z fight. Man, that felt bad. I was so happy when she hit 1,000 damage.
that sounds like pain. I mean, I guess it has +3 strength on it.
Sure.
It's something.
All right, so we see Starman visiting Baron Inn. For us here in the booth and for everyone in chat, a revisit to Odin, who Alchemy was like, no. To answer a question from chat, runners have to complete 7 of the 8 bosses, so they do get to skip one. Usually it will not be a boss of their choice. It will simply be whichever one they come across last. So typically you'll see runners go through and just end up fading one altogether and never know the location. And speaking of locations where bosses hide, the Baron in Reward is the package. The package being one of the more awkward key items you can pick up, because that is about 2.5 minutes to check one boss.
But you know what else that package means?
Sleeping piggy noises?
No, it means that we have to do music.
Yay. I mean, yay!
Underground access is locked behind that twin harp.
I'd like to invoke Red Moon, demist required. Let's get the Darkness Crystal, find all the bosses on the moon, never do the twin harp. And it's not going to happen, is it? Okay, we're reaching here.
So
music is great, though.
This check is polarizing, I would say, in the community. On the one hand, it's long. There's no denying that. It's a long check. It's just one boss and one key item. It takes a while to do. On the other hand, you get to listen to customized music.
And Xenocat, that customized music, I feel like there's a lot of songs, and I feel like you might know something about putting those pieces together for that harp.
Yeah, there's over 400 songs at this point in the pool. I've done about 200 of them.
Ooh, the Insta Parish.
Nice.
Love to see it. Good speed there from Starman.
We don't need to hear Dark Elf's boring cutscene where he attacks you and wipes your party. We just want music.
Oh, we don't. We can just talk through this whole thing, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Enjoy the music, yeah.
And that was Nia Exdeath from Final Fantasy V. One game off randomizer, but you tried. And there's a Baron key.
Yeah, so the quest for underground access continues, going from Twin Harp to Baron. Eventually, we will run out of key items that can gate the underground. I believe this could only be the Earth Crystal if it is not exactly the hook coming from Baron. But our runners are going to be looking at a whole lot of to-do before they can go underground in this seed.
But at the same time, we're not exactly unhappy to see the Baron Key because there's a 50% chance that first boss is required.
Yeah, it's one of those where the seed is kind of routing you into doing all these checks as well that you might not necessarily want to do or might be kind of awkward to do. So it's not the worst situation, because normally you'd be like, oh, I'm fading a harp, this feels bad. Oh, I'm fading a Baron Key, this feels bad. But if you're being forced into all those checks because that's just where the game logic is taking you for this seed, then it feels a lot less bad and it becomes more of an execution battle. So I think for our runners, it's actually not the worst type of situation. And we do see Alchemie kind of retreading some of Starman's steps here, going to be peeking around Eblan Castle looking for a Holy Sword. We know that there's some experience here and some nice items, but no Holy Swords to be found.
Yeah, it's just going to be some nice power. And Starman had to buy a lightsaber from the Baron weapon shop just to make sure that Cecil could actually be useful.
Gotta do what you gotta do. You have the money.
Yeah.
You can't take it with you.
I mean, you're not spending it on Edge or Kane at this point.
Yeah, you probably end up spending it on what, Bacchus wines?
Yeah.
Sirens.
Yeah, those are nice.
Alchemy is practicing charm strats with the Lamia. It looks like Charmed Kane is hitting Charmed Cecil, which is actually not the worst. And then Charmed Cecil decided that he was tired of Rosa and decided to let her enjoy a nap, which was actually kind of rude in this case.
I mean, Rosa was probably tired.
She does carry the seed so many times, so. Well, more sparkles that are not required sparkles. There is D-Lunars, which is not D-Knight or D-Elf or D-Sparkle that we wanted to DC.
Yep, just another boss that's kind of rude, that Kane will probably destroy.
Will we get quad 9s from Kane? Wait, was that a 1700 jump with a Dragoon Spear?
I don't think that was a Dragoon Spear.
Okay. I was going to say, that would be underwhelming even for Kane.
I'm assuming that was the White Spear.
Okay.
Because that's a reasonable jump for a White Spear at this point.
That would make a whole lot more sense. I was getting a little concerned with Alchemy making a play here. Here we go, headed up the Tower of Zot. Also, was that a lightsaber in a chest for Starman? Because that would be funny and sad, and how Free Enterprise works. Alchemy looking for, I believe, the Flame Dog chest and seeing maybe the Holy Sword that we're all looking for is in this box. Maybe also going to peek the Zot 1 boss as we find Evil Wall on the Baron throne. One of the cool things about the Zot 1 check is you don't actually need the Earth Crystal to peek the first boss of the Tower of Zot. And there is an Hourglass too, so Trap Chests being very un-T-Wildish in this seed so far.
I mean, if it was a T-Pro seed, they would be like, here you go, enjoy this like Blizzard Spear.
Or this Odin Summon.
Yeah, and I would be like, well, thanks. That's what I wanted.
I mean, to be fair, a Blizzard Spear could come in handy with Ruby as an objective if we hadn't already fought Ruby.
Yeah. Maybe Ruby form of elements will be required. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see. To answer a question from chat, yes, the I wouldn't say gimmick so much as the objective, the idea, the concept is full boss hunts. All boss hunt, all the time. Key items, they still matter, of course, because they unlock boss locations. But the goal is to find the bosses, and you just need to find 7 of 8 scattered throughout the world. No Earth Crystal on the Overworld. That is a hook. I shouldn't say no Earth Crystal. The basement could have the Earth Crystal. But looks like the hook is now available. So at a minimum, our runners, though, are looking at somewhere between probably 6 and 7 key items before getting underground, which is pretty good. Gets you on a good path towards 10 before having to hit the moon. So
I would like to quickly shout out, Alchemie pulled an Artemis bow out of the first chest in Cave Magnus. So Rosa might be hitting things.
That's pretty good, especially with those Artemis arrows. It's interesting. I might consider bringing Sid and letting Sid do arty things. He does a lot of damage with arty.
Yeah, or we could give it to Cecil since he doesn't have a weapon.
That's also fair.
That's like actually useful. I mean, he has maybe an Ogre X, I guess.
Speaking of actually useful, we have a Sparkle. We have Basement Ogo Pogo. This is a dreadful fight at this point. I would be snap resetting out of this so fast and come back way later.
Come back later. You know this is here. Let's do other things.
Now, I am all for Starman trying to get through this, but this is a whole lot of gumption to try to make this work.
But we should probably be quiet while we're getting a reprise of music. And that is Alchemy through King Queen Eblan in Cave Magnus. Well, Starman is still working on this Ogopogo.
Yeah, this is a very ambitious attempt. I think he's going to get through it, but this is, to me, one of those classic examples of can I versus should I. Yes, you can, and you're proving that. But this is a very time-intensive fight now. If this, doesn't pay off beyond just being the boss objective, it kind of feels bad because you could just come back and do this later. So we'll see what the key item is. And just for a Gungnir Spear, that doesn't feel the greatest. Like, heck of a fight by Starman,
Yeah.
Really well done getting through it, but that feels bad.
Yeah, all
because
that-
you could save a lot of time later.
Yeah, that spear is useless to his party as a cane weapon. It's essentially either money or a dart.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to do with it.
But did get through it, so the
Yeah.
overworld is clear for Starman outside of exactly the package, which I would assume we're not going to see the package get checked, but maybe we'll get surprised by Starman here.
I mean, given that you've found 2 bosses, like, you're so far away from just surprise go mode. Yeah. There's a lot more bosses underground. We're gonna have to go underground anyway. Let's just do that.
Yeah, no cheeky darkness crystal on this one. And Starman using a cabin here indicates to me he may start hunting the Staleman and or the Mad Ogre chest as well if he's taking a cabin here. But we shall see. And swapping back to the White Spear instead of the Dragoon Spear as well. Looks like he is opening those boxes, so may still be trying to spike that big stick for Cecil. And a Zeus Gauntlet doesn't stink. That's a nice pickup in a random box.
Yeah, that's gonna be 10 extra strength for whichever character that goes on.
And it also protects you from being sized.
Yeah, and it's giant defense.
Yep.
And the boxes down here are full of giants, so... Oh, there's also Bacchus in the shop.
Yeah, that's well,
Yeah.
I'd want like 20 with this team.
Yeah, I don't know that 5 is enough.
Ooh. Buying a
I
ninja
would've bought
shirt.
it. At
Didn't
least
see that coming.
Yeah,
I think
that's interesting. I mean, it is great defense for Edge, and since it is the Sea Neki flag on Blue Moon, you don't start with any defensive gear, so might just want that ninja shirt just to have something on Edge, because Edge was not surviving punches from Ogopogo.
no, but to be fair, even with a ninja shirt on, I don't know in the front row that he survives too much. Maybe he goes down in 2 hits instead of 1, but it'll more help on the magic side where Edge really lacks generally. That ninja shirt, I think outside of, is it the white shirt, is like the second best magic armor in the game, something like that. It's very highly magic defensed.
Yeah, it'll definitely be helpful.
And the Staleman chest, not proving to be a problem for Starman, and picks up an elixir. That is not what you want.
No! You can't even sell that!
Well, you can for
You can,
1
yeah.
gold?
You can, but like, why?
Well,
We
you
have-
know what would be weak to a holy sword? Mylon Z or the Friends.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they are weak to the White Spear.
True.
So Kane might get some time to shine.
We see a rune axe being put on that cane. I think I know what's coming on Starman's side. We are continuing to hunt for that holy sword, while Alchemie is going through Baron and going to get to play with the Pale Dim. And we'll see if Alchemie also plays with Ogopogo.
It's the D-Lunars.
The D-Lunars, excuse me.
The Pale Dim was,
was elsewhere.
on Ordeals, I believe, in the 3rd spot.
Confusing my sparkles.
It's fine. There's the sparkles that don't matter. Because they're not Wyvern and they're not objectives.
Exactly. But we see Runax Kane on Starman's side. Going to be doing some work here. And yeah, that's 4,000 to the Ogre, which is a mage. So, again, feature. Definitely cast Berserk. Probably. Because it's mad.
Probably, I guess. I don't know. It is also the Mad Ogres are also giants, so they can't hurt Kane.
So true. They did hurt Palom, though, who was taking a nap. Well, that is another White Spear. So that is what? Tier 5 from the Doggo. Tier 7, 7, and 6 from Eblan. Tier 5 from the Stalemen, and Tier 6 from the Mad Ogres. So no Holy Swords to be found on this overworld.
This distribution of trap chest items is honestly like, if this was T-Pro, I'd be like, yeah, that's decent.
Yeah.
That's a decent distribution for T-Pro.
Yeah, this is now the Holy Sword hunt gone wrong.
Yeah. And we'll have to see how long our runners continue to hunt for a Holy Sword. Especially with that lightsaber already in hand. I feel like sinking more time into it might just not make back the time up, even if you do hit.
Yeah, absolutely true. And we do see a boss not too bad here. Yet another boss where the Rune Axe is going to do work. And looks like that Rune Axe is being equipped right away. And I think a Bacchus Wine is being sought here by Starman. Just going to zerk up to Cecil and let him fly.
Yep, Cecil is going to have some words to say to the Magus Sisters. Well, not words, he's just going to hit them.
He's going to look to silence them with that Rune Axe.
Yes, and it's effective.
I love the damage range. We had 2,000, 4,000, and 6,000. Classic Rune Axe.
Yep. I mean, I'm not sure that Cecil is back row, but I would guess he probably is.
If not, we may find out soon.
It's probably Rune Axe doing Rune Axe things.
Yeah. And let's see what flavor of Mylon we get. It is the Friends, and there is Alchemie picking up her hook as well. So a couple minutes behind Starman, but not too far out of this yet. And if Alchemie does not go after any more of these trap chests, she will make up quite a bit of time as well.
Yeah. Is going to check the Baron basement. I imagine probably doesn't sink the time to fight the Ogopogo at this point.
There's also a big difference between Alchemie's party and Starman's party and how they were set up at the time. Alchemie is currently fast anchored with an edge, and Starman was slow anchored with a curse ring on the character in the middle. This spot in the basement has something like, I want to say 44 agility, like it's really fast. So Edge being fast anchored in the middle, it makes this Ogopogo a non-starter for how Alchemie is set up. So I think this will be a peak, maybe an attempt to fight the boss, and then probably a reset. Yeah, there's the instant reset from Alchemie, which is really heads up.
Assess the situation, be like, this is not a boss I can fight with this setup right now.
Yeah.
And if I walk back down there, it's going to take a very long time.
Yeah, I think that's very well addressed situationally by Alchemie. Just knowing that, okay, that's a later Alchemie problem, which we'll deal with, in 20, 30, 50 minutes, whenever it is. So I like that play. Again, it's, in Starman's situation, it was a can I versus should I. In Alchemie's situation, it's a I can't.
It's I can't do this right now. I'm going to do other things.
Yeah.
And I know I can't, so I'm not going to waste time trying.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very good gamesmanship to know that, what your limits are with your current party setup.
Yeah, absolutely. Alchemie just clearing out some of the overworld checks that Starman did earlier. And is also headed towards the hook route. Has not, without the package checked, but I think everything else checked.
Yeah, I think everything checked plus the flame dog, and we'll see if Alchemy saves and goes after that Starman chest as well. And looks like she may be doing the same as Starman was, still searching for that holy sword. While Starman is getting underground and gives us a peek at the top of tower. That is an Octomam, so we are still fishing for a lot of bosses at this point. Normally, you've seen between 3 and 4 bosses on average by this point in a seed. So for our runners to only realistically have 2 that they even have eyes on is definitely on the low end.
Yeah, especially since we got a couple of overworld chain items that we had to go through as well.
Yeah, I mean, having the Twin Harp, having the Baron Key, that opens up basically 4 checks. And yes, Ogopogo was behind one of them, but that is still, I would say, well below the average expectation for bosses.
Yeah, we've seen, I think at this point, trying to quickly do math, it's not working.
A lot. We've seen a lot of bosses.
A lot of bosses, yes.
You would reasonably expect to have seen at least 3, maybe 4 by now. I think 2 is on the very low end, which will cause some concern for our runners because how much is going to be on the moon?
Yeah.
How much is on the giant? How much is hidden between weird boss spots? Things like the sealed cave, things like the package. You always have those potentials where you end up, some seeds will draw you and you see 32 bosses or 31 bosses and you're like, wow, it was the package and it was Luca. I did the warp glitch and I got burned. Like, those will happen. So it'll be interesting to see where we end up.
Math, we have seen 17 bosses at this point.
That's it's 1 over half of the bosses in the game, right?
That is exactly half of the bosses.
Okay.
Exactly half of the boss locations have been seen, and only 2 of them were objectives.
Yeah, so definitely on the low end.
Oh, also, the Sylphs gave us a White Spear.
Yeah, that's White Spear number half dozen. I don't know. Sell it for money, throw it at something. It's too many.
I don't know. The seed really wants to make sure you absolutely got a White Spear for your Cane.
The seed is making 100% sure that Kane cannot leave your party either.
Yes.
You actually need him for damage because we have found basically nothing for Edge.
1 ninja sword.
Right, basically nothing for Edge. A ninja, just 1 ninja sword on T Wildish, having done all these trap chests and all this looting. No Muras, no Masas, no full moons even.
You don't even have something good for his offhand.
Right, no mute knife.
Yeah, not even a mute knife for the offhand.
No assassin dagger. It's rough. This is a very interesting T Wildish seed, and I think, I forget who said it in chat earlier, but the ish is being emphasized on Wildish on this one, which is kind of refreshing in a sense.
Yeah, it's just Wildish is not doing its Wildish job, and it's just giving us here's Kane. You can have Kane.
I'd expect this to be the way a seed would play out on Red Moon with T Pro. Now speaking
sell
of
2 White Spears so we can outfit Edge.
Yes, let's buy our ninja swords, a full moon if we want it. Now we have an Edge that can play the game.
Yes, now Edge is now functional. Cecil is kind of functional. Lightsaber Cecil is okay.
I see we're having a robe party in the Feymarch today. 1 blue robe and 1 purple robe. So we know that's what Mylon Z at the Leviathan spot. And is that our gauntlet?
Yep, that's our gauntlet.
Oh, that's interesting. So there's some setup that can be done here. You have 4 conjurers to start out this gauntlet and then 1 clapper. So what you can do is you can lead off with a relative agility 1 Berserker, who just has a rune axe equipped and should be able to one-shot the first 4 fights of this. We'll see if Starman sets up for that, and looks like he is setting up for exactly that. So very heads up by Starman, recognizing what this gauntlet is and going to tackle this this gauntlet, and that should be objective number 1 on the board. I guess it's not objective 1, it's the gauntlet on the board for him. Soon, yeah. TM. But looks like we do get, oh boy, 1600.
Okay, Runex, please.
Although I don't think he's back road, so I think that might be why the damage was reduced.
That's probably part it. That, and I think the still being on battle speed 1 means that Kane can't quite get off these swings before the Conjurer summons an enemy.
I think we had agility 0 Palom as well.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. So this is fun. We got maybe a rock moth grind, and now we get an arachne grind. I hope y'all like quakes, because we're gonna have them spammed, and it's gonna be a delight, except for the delight part.
Yeah. I mean,
also arachnes have like 4,000 health for no reason.
It's fine. That's a reasonable amount of health.
I don't think Starman thinks it's reasonable right now.
No. We'll be fine. See, we're fine. Now we get to huge Naga grind.
I like the Gaia drum drop that you can't even use on a traditional arachne. Because in the wild it would be floating.
Yep, it's in the wild it would be floating, and they are weak to ice, and they do still have the air weakness.
They do.
They're just, if they're summoned, they don't actually float.
Features.
Yes, this is a feature.
And we did thankfully skip the Clapper summon, but now we get the Clapper in the wild, but we have a Dragoon Spear for this. If that Blitz had hit Kane, that would have been awkward, because he probably would have fallen over. But now he can jump and hopefully kill the Clapper. Yeah, quad 9. Yay!
We're fine.
And that is that's the gauntlet done for Starman. So Palom, try as he might with his agility 0, because somehow at level like 40, he only has 15 agility. Starman's still able to get through and is rewarded with an Avenger. So I guess that's an upgrade for Cecil, probably. Maybe it still just goes on Kane. I don't know. Kane has everything in this seed.
I mean, it's finally something Cecil could equip that we didn't have to buy.
Oh, are we going to go no save straight into Mylon Z at Leviathan? This would be a thing.
Yeah, that seems spicy. Ooh.
Starman has more ambition than I do. I'm just going to say that, because this is spooky.
Yeah.
This spot has the highest attack in the game, and we're just going. That is
it's fine.
A dead Cecil, but a zerked up Yang with a white spear and an Avenger probably gets us there.
Goodbye, Edge.
Yeah, nice ninja shirt. Again, great defense, not great enough for this spot. But looks like Alchemie has made her way to the Magus Sisters and will soon be through the hook as well. So I want to make sure that that we highlight that. Alchemie still only about a fight and a half behind Starman. Now, granted that that gauntlet is a bit of a longer one, but we do have have a little bit of a party difference as well. Yang is hanging out on Alchemie's side instead of that Palom.
Yeah, Alchemy, I think, deciding to just go with all of the Zerkers. Because sometimes you just need to have 4 people who can just hit everything.
Yeah. And looks like Starman gets a crystal ring for their trouble down in the Fey March. So 1 required boss, 1 Avenger, 1 unrequired boss, and a crystal ring. Crystal ring is super nice, but
I mean, we already had one at home. Oh, and now checks the Fey March freebie. Okay.
I think Klopp, for our tracker, who's done a fantastic job so far, was asking about that earlier, and I didn't have an answer, so I wasn't going to speculate. But that is the answer now. That the Fey March freebie was not picked up. So
No.
thank you to Klopp for staying on top of things, doing the tracking, and thank you to Smapety, our restreamer today, doing the behind the scenes work. And of course, thank you to our runners for putting on a great show, for RPG Limit Break letting us have our tournament and doing some of our matches on the channel here. And of course, thank you Xenocat for doing a great job keeping me in line.
Yeah, and thank you to you too, Possum, for joining me here in the booth today.
It's always fun to do this with you, Xenocat. Normally we end up on the opposite ends of racing, so it's nice to be on the opposite ends of comms with you.
Yeah, Starman looks like is headed to Dwarf now. I believe his Palom has, or their Palom has warp.
Probably should. I think warp is level 29.
Yeah,
it's like 600 health.
32, yeah, 32 is definitely has warp.
Yeah.
So Palom will just need to pop back up at the end.
Yeah, it shouldn't be much to do here. After taking on the Fey March, I can't imagine there's much in Dwarf Castle that's going to pose too much of a threat. Now, that being said, that Dark Knight Cecil, which is an objective, is fairly mean here. I think it's like 350 to 400 damage from the Dark Waves here, which is an appreciable amount when you may have like just checked this after coming underground. But after having Fey March XP as well, I don't think it'll be much of an issue.
Yeah, I think everyone in Starman's party can survive this no issues. I mean, other than Palom, but we don't care about Palom.
Yeah, unfortunately, Palom is kind of like here, but not really.
Yeah, it's Palom's nap time.
Palom kind of has the purpose of like some utility black mage spells, warp for this exact check, and may just take another nap the rest of the seed. I don't know that Starman will even bother rezzing him to learn things like nuke or Meteo. I don't know that they're even super required.
It feels like that would take a lot of extra experience.
Yeah.
It's so much experience. It's like 900,000 experience to get Palom to nuke.
Well, you'd certainly have all your Zerker levels after 900,000, though.
Yeah, but
we got Quarter Leg doing the saddest fire 2. And you gotta love the resistances on the elements where, for whatever reason, the second form resists holy. I don't know.
I don't know.
So yeah, poor Cecil and Kane there having a Monday trying to deal damage because they're getting holy resisted.
Yeah, I think Kane was also getting air resisted.
Yeah, that could also do it too.
Because Rupee is just like, you're using a spear. Too bad. Spears don't hurt me as much.
And Alchemy is through the hook route, so going to be underground. A couple minutes behind Starman, but we'll see if she can make up some time here. And there is a darkness crystal coming from Dwarf Castle, so we have to assume Dwarf Castle going to be required, given the amount of bosses
Yes,
left.
almost certainly Dwarf Castle is required.
And also the Luca Cave giving a power shirt, which is honestly a nice pickup. And we'll see if Starman decides to peek the sealed cave or not for the boss before, I would assume, heading to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, our other options at this point are Keyless Tower, which we know is Octomam. I mean, there's a key item there, but what would we be looking for behind that? I guess there's the Sheila checks. Starman will probably do those. And then there's package, but I don't think now is the time to go back for the package. I think we just go to the moon.
Yeah, I think if package were on the table, it would have been done earlier. I think package is one of those that it falls into the now or never category.
I would consider it if we were like one boss from Go mode or something.
Right.
It's either do it right away or it's very late in the seed and the seed has gone terribly wrong. It's time to do package.
Yeah, and I don't think on Starman's side anything's gone terribly wrong. He may feel like all that time chasing holy swords wasn't necessarily the best, but it's kind of common knowledge. It's kind of how the meta works on these seeds now, that you chase holy swords. So I wouldn't feel in too rough a situation if I were Starman. The tower key does pop up though, which might lead Starman back underground, because the allure of 10 key items and having both tower spots available plus an extra boss check may be enough to keep him on the blue planet here instead of going to the moon.
Yeah.
But we shall see.
Looks like it's going to Mysidia though.
Yeah, definitely understandable that there's, I want to say the odds, and there are a lot of smarter folks out there than I am. I think I want to say Plumeria Knight being one of them. I think the numbers on average were like the Moon and the Giant pays out just under 2 bosses combined if you take it just in a vacuum, something like that.
Yeah.
And we are looking for right now 3 bosses to get to Go mode. So
we also,
with the limited bosses left, though, that number rises.
Yeah. The only bosses we haven't seen are the Super Cannon boss, the Sealed Cave boss, the 2 bosses in Zot, and the package boss.
Yeah.
And then there's the Moon and Giant.
Yeah, so mathematically, Moon and Giant seem pretty reasonable right now.
Yeah, there's 8, that's 8 bosses out of the 13 that you have not seen.
Yeah. So a reasonable expectation here would be at least 2 of them coming from the Lunar Subterrane and Cave Bahamut, I think. Or right around 2 of them anyway. And then the Giant becomes a huge wild card.
Yeah, Giant gets a little interesting if we don't have all of our bosses from the moon, because we could just find 3 of our bosses in Cave Bahamut and the Lunar Subterrane and then be done, but
Yeah, we do see Starman heading over to Cave Bahamut. I'm going to peek that first. Cave Bahamut, the most interesting of the checks to me, because you can peek. You get to see what the sprite is before heading down there. And then you can decide, hey, do I want to take this on or not? And so I think that's one of the cool parts about Cave Bahamut is you get that knowledge before really committing anything more in about 25 seconds to walk down there.
Yeah, Cave Bahamut is it's very fast to just peek it, and I'm a big fan of it, at least on boss hunt flag sets, just going in and peeking Cave Bahamut before you start the Lunar Subterrane, because it's just so much faster to find out if you need to do it or not, especially in Starman's position where they've got all but one of the boss gating key items. They know that they're in full phase check mode.
Yeah, I tell you what you don't want to commit to, though, after face checking it, and that's a turtle at the the Cave Bahamut spot, that's an icky turtle that I fully agree with the reset on.
I mean,
no thanks.
we know it's not hard required, so
Yeah, that's true, because Starman has access to everything but Zot 2. So there is no world in which that turtle can gate 2 bosses.
I mean, it could gate one boss, and the other boss could be at the CPU spot, gated by something really nasty at Elements, but...
Yes, but...
But... You could choose to do the nasty thing at Elements.
Okay, but what if... Wait, have we seen CPU yet?
No.
Okay, CPU at Elements gates one boss, and that turtle has the Earth Crystal, which gates the other one.
Oh gosh.
That'd be rude, wouldn't it?
See, I want that, and then there's a third boss at Package, just because.
The mystery 35th boss. And we get a Murasame altar from Starman. That is a Valvalis. That is a non-required Valvalis.
Yeah, we don't need to fight this. I mean, maybe there's a pass here. Maybe there's experience here. I mean, there is experience here. But Starman, you can just leave.
So let me ask you this, while this Valvalis fight is going on. Would you ever be tempted to reset here and go do the giant before walking down the rest of the moon, not having the pass?
I might be, honestly. At least peek the element spot, see if it's something reasonable. I probably wouldn't sit through a CPU at Elements before walking down the moon.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting potential choice. That I wonder if the giant plays in, because now you're banking on 3 of the 4 altars at the bottom of the moon having bosses, which can happen. All 4 could be down there. But I would be really intrigued about a potential giant play here.
Yeah, and there's always the last arm chest, which I think is one of the best chests in terms of payout, in terms of Holy Sword payout versus time it actually takes to kill the last arm.
Yeah, because all you have to worry about is fission, which maxes at what, like 900 damage to everyone, something like that?
Yeah, fission is fine.
And we do see Alchemie turning in her pan, going to be rewarded with, well, air quote, rewarded with a protect ring. So we'll see where Alchemie opts to go. Decided not to take on the Gauntlet yet down in Feymarch, so knows where the Gauntlet and knows where Ogopogo is. Has not yet taken them on. Starman does get through that Valvalis, so we'll see if he is rewarded for the time spent on that Val. And does get a magma key, so mandatory. And this has to be said every time. We can get underground now, folks.
Yeah. I don't care that this is a 4-spec tournament. We're going to say that every time.
Every time.
It is a 10th key item for Starman, though.
That is true. Again, this is one of those situations, though, where I do wonder, like, could you have just maybe gotten that at the White Spear altar?
Yeah.
And gotten the 10th there, and then...
Or maybe you get your 10th key item from, like, the Super Cannon room?
Or that, yeah.
That seems like a reasonable place to look for a 10th key item. Although we're kind of committed to, maybe I'll check top of tower as well.
We have Alchemie learning today that you cannot, in fact, coffin an alert, which is always fun.
Yeah, that's a machine. You can't... Machines aren't alive, so you can't coffin them.
Yeah, they're not Porum.
It's the same with constructs, like the Stalemen.
Yeah, you can coffin stone men, right? But not stale men? Something like that?
I think so? I don't know.
I know you can stone a Starman, which is also very odd to me. Anyway, neither here nor there. Alchemy is trying to find a holy sword still, I believe, and Starman is going after the crystal sword altar. Also, shoutouts to Yang, who I believe just failed to kill an alert by 10 health.
Thanks, Yang.
You tried. Well, if you wanted punchy bosses in places you don't want to find them, hi, have you met Baigen at the Crystal Sword Altar?
Oh boy.
Bye, Kane.
This is a really fun lunar subterrane.
That's, yeah, sure. Val?
Kinazo, Val,
Baigen. Yeah, no. That's a triumvirate of no.
We have known from getting up here that all three of them are just not required.
Nope. Just don't need them. And we do see Alchemy taking on this Leviathan as well.
Yep.
That I believe is the tower key room. Yeah.
So no boss value there.
That giant is looking better and better, Xenocat.
Yeah. We're gonna hype up the giant, and then it's gonna be like karate at elements into like Dark Elf at CPU.
Well, Dark Elf's an objective though.
Yeah, so is karate, but it's gonna be the most disappointing pair of bosses.
Fair. Because they're free, yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be just something completely free at elements that we don't have to actually chew through the 65,000 hit points.
No, it's gonna be CPU at elements.
Oh,
and then we can have whatever behind
okay. Yeah, we can put like Golbez at CPU or something. Just make sure you got a Star Veil.
Yeah. No, Alchemy found a defense sword, which is great for Kane, who continues to have all of the weapons.
Kane needs more weapons.
There you go.
More weapons for Kane.
Kane, the seed. Okay, well. Yep, chat pointing out no more 0 agility on Palom, which is good.
Yeah. That's definitely very good for Starman as they head down towards the bottom of the moon.
Yeah, these bosses are definitely competing for the Hide and Seek Championship 2022 right now, and from what we can tell, they're winning. All of them.
Yes. All of them except Ruby. Ruby lost really badly.
Yeah, Ruby was like, hey, I'm gonna go hide. And like pick the closest possible place without thinking like, hey, they're gonna check that. You're not being sneaky. You silly goose.
You're not being sneaky by hiding in Antlion Cave.
Well, that is not required.
On the moon.
Yeah, so that's Kainatsu, Val, Baigen, and Wyvern. Nice moon you got there.
And I don't think Starman has Star Veils.
Well, time to get a wall up with Rosa, I guess. Or something.
I guess.
Maybe, I mean, the spell power is not super high here. Can Cecil walk this off? I think it's more than 2 rolls, though. Oh, there are Star Veils. Okay.
Oh, okay, good. We do have Veils. That's good.
Okay, so it's 3 rolls, and Cecil dodged 2 of them, so I knew it was low, but I wasn't sure. But good job, Cecil.
Well, this spot doesn't technically have a magic stat. It's
That's
just
true.
it scales based on level. And so it just scales Wyvern's vanilla magic stat based on the level difference between Wyvern and Plague, and that level difference is
It's
not
like
large.
2. Yeah. And there's a legend sword for alchemy from that Octomamp. So maybe we could see a super forge here and get some spicy like Abel's Lance or
maybe
Lightbringer.
have a Lightbringer, yeah.
Yeah. Or you know, a Caliburn. Either way.
Yeah, either way. Starman finds a rat tail. That's a key item check, I guess.
Yep. Starman doesn't need key items though. So maybe the Earth Crystal, so he doesn't have to do like the giant, or maybe could find a boss that's required. That's not it.
No. Gosh dang it, you were supposed to be at Elements.
Now, if you would have told me that we would have checked 5 bosses on the moon and none of them would be required, coming up to this moon, I would have told you that you were objectively incorrect, mathematically speaking. But here we are.
Yeah, no, the bosses are hiding today.
Also, that CPU is gross. Okay, well, here we go. Starman says let's do it.
Oh my gosh, this...
Yeah, no. It's technically free.
Yeah. And the super cannon is another defense sword. Perfect. We already looted one of those.
Yeah, and Kane already has 27 different weapons, so probably didn't need a 28th.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what we get from the Supersmith.
It's going to be an Abel's Lance, right?
It has to be.
This will be something Kane can use. Otherwise, the seed will have lied to us this entire time.
Watch it be a Mist Whip.
It'd be kind of funny. Or like a Loki's harp, or what is it, Loki's lute? I don't remember.
Loki's lute, but yeah. Artibo and Zeus Gauntlets in the shop. So that's something.
And apples.
Yeah, that is true if we want to sell everything to get hit points.
I mean, we have like 30 different Kane weapons. I know this number keeps getting more and more exaggerated. We have lots of Kane weapons we can sell.
Yeah.
Loading up on Zeus Gauntlets, I don't hate it.
I mean, you have 4 Zerkers that can equip Zeus Gauntlets. Okay, that's a Kane weapon.
Yep. That tracks.
Cool.
It absolutely tracks.
I mean, you could also give it to Cecil.
No.
But no.
No, it goes on Kane.
It goes on Kane. Because this is the Kane seed.
It had to be a weapon that Kane could use. It just had to be. I'd ask Smapety what his favorite character is, but it's clearly Kane.
Yeah, I don't think we need to ask anything at this point.
So meanwhile, Starman is going to war with this CPU. I don't think the CPU ever can win this war.
No.
But Starman also putting a lot of time into this check as well.
I mean, the CPU could win if Rosa somehow runs out of MP.
That's true.
But I think that's unlikely.
Big orb down.
Okay, we're done. We're almost done.
And let us see the reward. Do we finally see that Earth Crystal? Do we get a pass? We do get the Earth Crystal.
It is the Earth Crystal and the spoon.
Do you think we get to rate that treasury, Xenocat?
I don't think so.
But holy swords.
It's not gonna be holy swords. It's gonna be like 4 more white spears.
Oh, right, I forgot.
But yeah, Starman now has access to every single boss in the game, so can safely write off that package forever and never check it.
The
And
moon
oh
is
hey,
not haunted.
there's something on the moon. Wow.
Whew, I was getting scared that like
Yeah.
Snape D forgot to put the bosses in the game.
So we're looking at the 2 bosses in Zot, the sealed cave, and the package for our remaining, and the giant.
I was going to say, don't forget about that giant.
Yes, for our remaining 3 bosses.
Yep. All of the places you don't want to go.
Yeah.
There will be seeds like this. There will be seeds where you got to hunt to the ends of the earth and the moon. And then there will be seeds that take, just under or just over an hour because all the bosses are right in your face. So today is not the latter. Today is very much the former. And yeah, for chat pointing out, the boss, or excuse me, the moon is technically not required if Zot 2 does not have a boss.
Yeah. And there's a sad ruby. It's a key item that is completely useless.
Yep, no boss, no character. One of the features of Sino earned. Yeah,
Well, I should say it's a free heal that you have to go very out of your way for. So if you're absolutely broke, I guess you can use it.
As someone who has been poor enough in this game to not be able to afford the Troya Inn, there are times where maybe you want that heal.
The Troya Inn, you just go to the Baron Inn, which costs like 20 GP.
50, yes.
50,
and
yeah.
I didn't have the 400 for Troya, and it felt bad.
Oof.
But yeah, the sad ruby, I forget who came up with that. I think it was at some point a discussion between like myself and Martin and the Rybon and some other folks. And I was like, yeah, this is the saddest key item in the game because it doesn't give a character, and all it is a key item. It's kind of like the magma key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least the magma key we get to make fun of.
Right. We see Starman saying, nope, I am not going to the giant. I will go and climb the Tower of Zot instead.
And smartly not leaving the Falcon right outside the Tower of Zot. Just in case Pass shows up.
I have personally never done that and gotten a parking ticket from the Troyan Parking Authority. Not me. Never. Okay, it's happened a lot. Don't at me.
Meanwhile, Alchemie is grinding, I think, on 10 key items now, so just taking the time to just get all the levels. I mean, you have Dragoon Spear Cane, may as well just scramble a whole bunch of eggs.
Yeah, Dragoon Spear, really nice for just, smashing the eggs. Yang not doing a great job of egg smashing, but to be fair, he's also in the back row. Kane going to do a much better job of that. And yeah, that's 4,700 damage from a normal swing. Goodbye, egg.
Yeah.
And our Zot 1 boss, one of the few mystery bosses we have left, that is Dark Elf, and that is required. That means that, yeah, just sitting there, hanging out.
Yep, he's just sitting here. You could have done this at any point in the game.
Now, the nice thing is we do have a light sword, we have a white spear, although we have the Avenger on Kane, which is completely understandable as well. But yeah, that Dark Elf not going to pose a threat to the party whatsoever. And what would be interesting, though, is a Golbez in the second spot. Because Golbez in the second spot actually is still threatening.
Yeah. Or maybe the second spot's just not required, and then it's time to go other places for other bosses.
Like the Giant?
Perhaps.
I'm just going to keep saying like the Giant until we go to the Giant.
Yeah. I mean, it is the densest play that Starman has after this.
True. Also, we see Alchemie doing quite a number of sirens here. Alchemie, near and dear to my heart in their approach to leveling, that levels can solve basically everything in Free Enterprise, and I agree with that. So I expect Alchemie to get to power overwhelming here and then not have to worry.
I mean, Alchemie is also in face check mode. She doesn't need to fight anything else, basically, because she doesn't need any other key items. Especially since this Zot 2 is a bust.
Yeah, so we now know Package, Sealed Cave, Giant.
Yep,
right?
That's it.
2 of the 4. That's fun.
Yeah.
Not for our runners, but for us.
Oh my gosh. It's definitely not every day you end up seeing 30 boss spots and still don't have eyes on 2 of your bosses.
Nope, but it is today, and I'm here for it.
Oh, that's cute, Zot.
I want it to be turned in. Please turn the pink tail in, Starman, just so we can see another cane weapon.
Yeah, it's going to be a Dragoon. I mean, we know it's going to be a Dragoon Spear, but...
Oh. Yeah, the correct play, by the way, is not to turn the pink tail in. So,
yeah.
Starman might be on...
a Crystal Sword, but...
Is Starman on the way to a 17 out of 17 here? Which is really rare on this flag set?
Top of tower, yeah.
Huh.
Which they know is Octomam, but... So they might just decide to do the Super Cannon and then dip, because...
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense.
Every boss gating key item.
Yeah, so for Starman, the tower key is unknown. We obviously know that, well, it doesn't have value. So I wonder, I don't know where Starman saved, if this is going to be a reset or not. Okay, did save, so there's a reset, yeah. Do we get Sealed Cave since we're underground? We do. This makes a lot of sense. Route in 2 bosses that you can peek. And then if this is Bupkis, this leaves the Package and the Giant, which is my personal favorite combination when you have Package and Giant both having required bosses, because you just don't want to.
No. It gets worse when you get to the element spot and the element spot turns out to be nothing, and it's like, well,
yeah,
I can fight this, or I can go to the Package.
The best part about it also is, I mean, the Sealed Cave is a good troll too, because warp glitch is on. Like, what is the impetus to ever come down here, except taking 1 minute and 15 seconds of your time, roughly, to walk in a cave to peek a boss? Like, you just don't want to do it. No. So, like, it makes a lot of sense where Starman's at. The last 4 bosses are just places you don't want to go.
Yeah, these are all very cheekily hiding.
And if this is Golbez, this is a scary Golbez.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Golbez at honestly anything but the element spot is just kind of not great. Although Elements is 65,000 hit points at Golbez, so that's still not great.
Yeah, that's just a lot of time. And you can't prep going into it either. There's a Sura. That is not it. No. It is Package and Giant. Oh, fantastic.
Oh, I love this. Starman's going package.
And Alchemie has finished up her gauntlet. Getting objective, I guess that would be 1 in the upper left. I don't know how we're treating these, but that's the gauntlet.
It's the third boss.
The third boss, there we go.
So Alchemie does know where Ogopogo is.
True. And for those, and I don't know if Starman will show it off or not, a lot of it depends on the boss that'll be here. But first of all, we get a pig that we're fighting against. But secondly, if you have never had the chance to go through and do the package check yourself on these flags, just do it for fun one time. Talk to the pig in the bed, and then leave the inn, and then go back in and talk to the pig when it's awake. It is worth your time. I don't know if it was Zoe or Board or whomever added the text lines and everything, but go do it. Not going to spoil anything on it. Maybe Starman will show it off, but it's super, super fun.
Okay, it looks like Alchemie is just doing some cleanup on the objectives that she knows are out here. And then I think Alchemie is probably going to be bound for the moon after this, which, unfortunately, we know that's only going to get you 1 boss.
Yeah, that's true. The moon, technically not required, because Zot 2 was not required, and only Plague up there. And that is a karate man hanging out in Baron Inn. So
oh my gosh.
That means that Golbez is somewhere on the giant.
I'm so glad that Package was a boss the whole time. Because
it's been available
so early.
Oh yeah.
Zot 1 was just available. You could have had 4 bosses going into the underground.
Yeah. The cheeky checks would have paid off in this particular seed. Yeah. This is one of those seeds where, if, like myself, for example, I would be in the same situation Starman's in. I would have checked Giant probably at some point, but that wouldn't make it any less awkward as to where the bosses are hiding. Like, you're still looking at clearing and doing the vast majority of the bosses in the seed. So I think it's one of those seeds. Yeah. But Starman has made great progress and great work of it. Does not still have the pass, so we'll have to go back to the moon. Well, unless the rat tail has it.
The rat tail it's a quick check. May as well turn that in just to see if we can skip out on the walk through the lunar subterranean.
Oh wow! There it is.
Okay, moon just not required at all. Why not?
Cool.
Heck the moon. I mean, you have to raise the big whale because you do have to go either to the moon or the giant, but...
Right. Yeah, so pass was a 50-50 for Rat Tail and Kanatsu there, I believe. But,
yeah, I think you're right.
I think everyone's been so wrapped up in everything going on in this seed that chat is way behind. There we go. I finally see one from Escaron. Normally chat is full of Z flags by now. But this seed has just had everyone so enthralled with the happenings and I guess misgivings of the seed from our runner's perspective. Xenocat, what are those Z flags for?
I believe that's related to the fact that we can't move Zeromus around because he's a big scary boss that uses Big Bang, and no, I don't want to experience Big Bang in Antline. I mean, I do, but most people don't. So instead of moving him around in terms of locations, we just change the sprite up, because fighting the same final boss every time would get real boring. I believe there's a question that goes along with it. Possum, do you know what that might happen to be?
Yeah, does it have a hat? And is the hat cute? But more importantly, whose butt are we going to kick this evening? I think I got most of the questions.
Yeah, that's most of them. I mean, there's a few others, but yeah. We do need to know if it has a hat. Is the hat cute? Is the butt cute? Does it have a butt?
I mean, probably to most of those things. Okay, well, it's Dalton.
It's Dalton in the.
So, definitely a butt.
Yeah, it has a butt. Yes, cute, no hat.
I mean, maybe we just consider the entirety of what's happening here, the spacecraft and everything else, as being a hat. One giant
the
big
Dalton
hat.
Imperial?
Yes.
I know it's the Epoch, but I'm calling it the Aero Dalton Imperial because that's what Dalton calls it. Oh, Dalton Aero Imperial. Okay, I was close. It's fine. I've only played Chrono Trigger like twice.
I mean, you're closer than I was. I called it a spacecraft.
It's not. It is not. It can fly, sure, but it's not like. Oh, that's a good point in chat. Dalton is the hat for the ship.
Ah,
The ship is the boss, and Dalton is just the hat.
I like it. All right, we have a Big Bang coming out. It was nerfed. No one's going to die. Rosa will cure 4. Cecil will keep beating on Dalton. Kane and Edge, I believe, also will continue beating on Dalton. I don't know if Edge is on Dark duty or Zerk duty. Either one would be sufficient here. It looks like he's on Zerk duty with those double ninja swords. Actually, the primary source of DPS here. And we see Alchemie taking a much different approach than Starman took on the moon. She is just resetting out of everything that's not required boss.
Yeah, I mean, she's got her levels. She has no need to take on any of these bosses. She can just, like, she knows she has access to everything but Zot 2. So she knows she is guaranteed to have access to at least 7 of her 8 bosses. So why waste a bunch of time fighting bosses that don't need to be fought?
Yep, absolutely agree with that. So, you know, I like Alchemie's approach here. I think technical gameplay-wise was, you know, just a slight bit off of Starman. But, you know, the approach was tactically sound here from Alchemie. We do see another Big Bang come out on Starman's side. Looks like we are unnerfed on this one. Everyone has enough health. Yeah. They're fine. Rose is going to cure. We'll be good.
Bye, Palom. It's nap time again.
Yeah, Palom's been a sleepy boy this seed. But he'll get plenty of work in the rest of the tournament for sure. And there's rocks already, so Starman making very quick work of Daltimus. And that is the crack flash boom. And Starman is our winner this evening with an official time of 1:46:15. GG's to Starman. And we will see if we can get Starman in for an interview. I believe that dinging in our ears is, in fact, Starman joining us. GG's to you, Starman.
Thank you. So I don't know how to say it, but I might have popped that package just because I kept getting increasing whiffs of Golbez at elements and didn't want to deal with that. So I was hoping that would bail me out.
Well, we know by the end of this that Golbez is on the giant. We don't know which spot, but Golbez is up there. So you were right in your concern that Golbez was hanging out somewhere that you didn't want to find him. But kind of take us through, you obviously you have your thoughts on Golbez. Like, what were your thoughts on that moon as you kept, striking out on finding required bosses and just seeing the nastiest of nasties as well?
The only thing I was hunting for on the moon from like boss spots was the Earth Rock, because that was the last gating item I had to find. And as soon as I found that, I was like, okay, I'm not taking any more unrequired bosses. And the next thing I pop is Plague. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
Of course it pops up after you've taken on all the unrequired bosses. Well, except Kenazo, but...
I didn't feel like dealing with Kenazo without a grind.
No one wants to deal with Kenazo. There.
I was just... He can stay there.
No, yeah. We don't need him.
Yeah, the other thing I kind of wanted to ask about, we saw you aggressively hunting trap chests. I know that on Blue Moon, a lot of the kind of prevailing wisdom in the meta has turned into you have a Cecil, you hunt for holy swords in Eblan, either the castle or the cave. What were your thoughts on the 30-ish weapons you found for Kain and no holy swords for Cecil?
I mean, they indirectly turned into a holy sword for Cecil, so I can't complain that much. Because I sold enough weapons to just buy an entire armory.
Yeah. But yeah, this seed was the Kain seed for sure. We even saw Supersmith from Alchemie's side, and it was a piggy sword.
I didn't find the legend sword, and I was just like...
It was top of tower, which is very legitimate because it was not a required boss.
Yeah, I saw Echo Mammoth on there and decided I was going to fade that for a while.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, there was no reason to really go for tower other than maybe after you got the tower key. But even then, yeah, still no reason to take that boss fight on.
Yeah, so as far as the tournament, obviously this is a play-in round. You get some, tournament experience for this one under your belt. Obviously, you are a veteran of the tournament scene already for Free Enterprise. Kind of what you're feeling on, the flags, how things have been playing out for you. Did you feel this was particularly trolly, or have you seen seeds like this come up in your practice? Kind of just where are you at in general, with this go around?
Well, with this many boss spots that you need to check and kill, these can actually take a while. Sometimes you get like real lucky and everything's just like in the first like few places you check, everything is on like the overworld. It's just like okay. Overall, I like the flag set. I think my general idea for this is I want to see what cards I have on the table at the start with characters, and then I will go from there. I feel like there's no real reason to be doing any real dies until you've seen everything, like what characters you have and what gear you're looking for, because it also tells you what you can sell.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Finding out those characters, having everything kind of laid out in front of you. And speaking of things being laid out in front of you, obviously you move into the, I guess what we're calling the round of 64 or round 1, whereas this was our play-in round, with your opponent going to be, I believe, Beauty and Discovery. Looking forward to that match at all? Do you have anything you're looking to change? Anything you are, looking to keep? How are you kind of feeling about the way this played out and things you may need to do different or keep the same?
I don't know how I felt about this one particularly, just because it was very kind of linear at the end. You were going to check almost everything in the seed. It was just because of like where our last couple bosses were. Who's going to check package right? Who's going to go straight to the giant? Not me.
No, and who's going to go to Zot 1 without the Earth Crystal?
Exactly.
There was a lot of bosses that were just kind of hidden in places that you just didn't want to go to. And I'm using that just as like a general runner. Does not want to go to any of those spots.
And power was not an issue to see after a while. I had to, like, finding, like, clothes to put on the boys. Yes, that was an issue. They were, there was bare chest for a while there. Like, I could not find any good shirts for Kane or Edge, and I had, like, a crystal armor for Cecil, but crystal armor, it has a nice little drawback to it.
Oh, yeah. No, the seed was actually fairly withholding on the strength boosting gear. I mean, the power short from the warp glitch was nice, but the only other stuff we saw was, I believe, that Zeus Gauntlet in Eblan Cave, and then they were for sale as well in Kokos, but...
Unfortunately, I was probably never going to see that.
No, not with Legend Sword on Octomam. Why would you hunt down a Legend Sword? That would take way too much time. Yeah, this was kind of just a seed that didn't give you a whole lot. I mean, it gave you great characters, and then was like, you can have all of the things for Kane and no one else.
Thankfully, I was checking gear shops just for, like, a ninja sword or a lightsaber.
Yeah. No, and you kind of needed to do that in the seed because there was nothing. No holy swords. I think we saw the one ninja sword looted, and then I don't think we saw a second decent edge weapon looted anywhere.
Yeah, but overall, I would say Starman very well played, very efficiently cleared. Like, you basically did literally everything in the game except for the giant, and coming in just over an hour 45. I think, you know, I know that I haven't seen you as active on, you know, the ladder or whatnot recently, but I don't know if there's any rust or not. But if there is, it's not really showing. You were very efficient and super good gameplay. Looking forward to seeing you, you know, the rest of the way through the Blue Moon.
Well, I took an extended break after the spring tournament. I haven't really touched Free Enterprise since.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why I joined the Blue Moon instead of the Red Moon, because I didn't know how rusty I was.
I mean, it looked good. You were playing very well, very efficiently, clearing all the bosses. So I think you're definitely going to be one to watch in this Blue Moon, especially. You know, if this is Rusty Starman, look out, everyone.
All right, I'll let you two go because I believe Alchemie is waiting. So you have a good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much again, Starman, and you know, great work, and GG's again.
GG, everyone. I will see Free Enterprise fans later.
All right, and that was our winner this afternoon, Starman, and I believe we're now joined by our second place finisher today, Alchemie. GG's to you, Alchemie.
Hello. Wow, what a seed, huh?
Yeah. How did you like the everything is for Kane?
I like that very much, but a little lacking on the Edge department until later. I kept trying to find something for Edge in shops or whatever, but there was nothing for Edge.
No, nothing for Edge. There was a ninja sword, I believe, in Watery Pass, but that was the only thing we found.
Early on,
Like
I kept shopping and stuff because I really wanted exits. I desperately wanted exits, but then
it was just chilling in the front.
Go figure. And I should have checked the characters for Cecil before spending time searching for exits, but whatever. It's fine.
It's fine.
Man, imagine if I actually played this game, huh?
I mean, for someone who does far more work behind the scenes than, you know, usually on the front page, if you will, like, you still had I think the fundamentals of how to do the boss hunts really well down. Like, loved your approach to when you pivoted to face check mode, like how you approach a seed in general. I thought you were spot on with your mental approach to things.
I mean, I've been around since 2018, and I know the game fairly decently, probably, but like I just don't have the execution because again I don't play this game. Imagine the alternate universe where I'm like a round of 8 or whatever, like champion close to in tournaments or whatever. Who knows? Maybe next year. I don't know. Playing this game a lot really burns me out real fast, so I tend to like stick it to the tournaments. It's a real fun time. Oh, by the way, I forfeited, and RaceBot gave me the badge Tree Planter, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I don't know about you.
Wait, isn't Tree Planter the seed rolling one?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I thought that would have been Smapty, our restreamer, that rolled the seed.
I think it's a delayed thing. I think RaceBot doesn't give you a badge until you finish a race. I guess rolling seeds, but not racing them, and therefore had not officially gotten Tree Planter. I don't know.
Well, glad I joined this tournament then.
This is a theory.
Anyway, It's a Starman is really, really good at the game. I lack execution. But with every seed I play, I grow more powerful, so watch out for me in the winning bracket. Wink, wink.
Your power is simply growing. It's like Baron Hero's journey. It's just going to get better and better every week.
Yeah, I'm like Goku. The more you beat me, the stronger I get.
Yeah, the more we play your club, the more you break everything.
I was searching for key items. I was doing a key item hunt. That's why I went up top of tower. I was lucky to get the tower key, and then I went up to the top of tower. I was like, well, I hope this is the key item and stuff. And then I did dwarf, and that was 10 key items. So I said, okay, levels and moon. But you know, sometimes the moon is the right play because it's statistically probable.
It's usually the right play.
Some other times.
Mathematically, based on what you had seen on the overworld and the underground, it was the right play.
And
as it turns out, the only objective boss on the moon was Plague at the Massa Altar.
It had to be in the Massa Altar on top of that, huh?
Yeah, no, that was the only objective boss on the moon. The entire rest of the moon was a waste of time.
Where was Earth Crystal?
Earth Crystal was in the ribbon room.
Behind CPU.
So, no,
gross.
Don't do that. But yeah, your bosses were... I think your remaining bosses were Package for Karate, Zot 1 for Dark Elf, Plague at Massa Altar, and then Golbez was somewhere in the Giant.
I was like, oh, I only need 3 bosses. The moon has 6. This checks out. This checks out.
That's completely logical. The seed just decided to be rude.
But like you said, Package is 1 boss, Giant is 2 bosses, and then Zot is another 2 bosses, and that's 5 out of those 3 I need. So the math swings one way or the other, depending on how you think about it.
Yeah.
But that is how game goes on time.
Yep. The rando is sometimes just gonna rando.
Anyway, this Flaxed Rocks, kind of wish I practiced more, but again, I kind of prefer doing other stuff. But maybe if next spring tournament the stars align and it's a Flaxed kind of like this one, maybe I'll practice more. I don't know. Guess we'll see.
We'd look forward to it. It's always a pleasure to have you, not just behind the scenes, but also racing. You do so much for the community, so the least we can do is cheer you on when you do race.
I mean, as long as you give me Flaxed with real big strong buff mains ringing big sticks, I'm good. And big levels, I'm fine. I like those.
Well, Blue Moon definitely does that.
I saw the panel and I'm like, no, amazed, get out of here. The only mage I want to see is a white one. Bye.
I mean, the Workwitch was kind of useful in that it had a power shirt.
A power shirt? Oh my god, a shirt in this seat?
The Workwitch had a shirt. It was the only shirt. Starman had to buy a ninja shirt.
That's so funny.
were no shirts. It was great. I guess the seed just really wanted everyone to be shirtless.
Buying a ninja shirt is like the ultimate. I love it.
Yes. I mean, what else were you gonna do with like the 5 white spears?
Chuck him! You use them as darts! Or sell them for Zeus gauntlets like I did.
Yeah, but ninja shirt.
That was great. Like, I look forward to playing in the winning. One of the reasons why I played this tournament is that it's basically 2 matches. If I don't win, which is honestly fine by me. Two nice, fun times, and then I'm out and working on the restream. Sounds great to me. I really like this quick elimination bracket kind of deal. You know, I like things brisk.
Yeah, the seed was definitely a long one, but
It was.
you handled it
But
well.
that's okay. If this is a long seed, I'm good.
Yeah,
you know?
this was on the longer side for sure, mostly because of package and giant and Zot 1 and Masa Altar. Just, you know.
Well, that all being said, though, Alchemy, I know that it's getting very late for you, so I want to make sure you get some good rest, and I think we'll let you have a great rest of your night. And just want to say again, heck of a performance to you, and so happy to get to see you do some racing.
You know, rest is variable, but having a good time is forever. So, see you all, folks. Have a good one. There are more races, so
yes.
stay tuned for those.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Sees.
Yeah, so there are more races. There's one off restream right now happening between Dishmu and Zilch in the Red Moon bracket, but we also have 2 more races later on tonight that are being restreamed over on our free enterprise channels. We have Microcorks versus Tybalt at 7 p.m. on the free enterprise flagship channel. And then later tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Night 2 versus Zyrak over on free enterprise 2. For now, we're going to head over to Zeke Highland, who is doing some practice for this blue moon.
Yeah, so thank you to everyone for hanging out. Appreciate y'all for cheering on our runners and having a blast with us. Make sure that as we go over there, no spoilers for this race. One more huge thank you and huge shout out to our restreamer Smapety, our tracker Klopfer, Xenocat in the booth with me, our runners Starman and Alchemie, and of course a huge thank you as always to RPG Limit Break. Words are hard, y'all. For letting us have our tournament in part on their channel. So thank you again, everyone. My name is Possum Morpheus, and Xenocat, last words are yours, my friend.
Oh boy. Reminder not to spoil this race. We have newspapers, we will bonk you, but let's head on over to Zeke Highland and enjoy some more free enterprise action.